Hey guys, so tonight we're measuring our ring gap. Ring gap's very important, especially on a turbo motor. As things heat up, this is your piston here. It's lovely Brian Tooley forged pistons, and rings look like this. Let me show you. It's easy. This is our top ring, and they come like that with a gap in them, so you can get them over stuff and get them in. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that this, and this
Somebody wants you.
are all different kinds of metal, and they all heat up differently. And what happens is if you don't gap the rings properly, first off, if the gap's too big, you're gonna get a lot of blow by. And if they're too tight, what happens is as it heats up, those two ends will butt together and they'll actually lock the piston in the bore. And what happens then is bad things. Usually the top of the piston breaks off or a ringland breaks off.
Catastrophic failure.
It can be catastrophic, yeah. It's usually you get a dead cylinder and stuff beats around. And if you're lucky, it's just it falls off the bottom and then you clean it out and put in a new one. Anyhow, we're using feeler gauges, setting stuff up. We got a ring grinder for our brand new rings and pistons and trying to make it happen. There, we're setting ours to about 28 thou. We're looking up to borrow a grinder from a buddy.
Let's see what you got going on here with the grinder. How does that work?
Thanks, Adam. It's basically just a grinding wheel and a little crank. A nice flat deck surface to hold everything straight and square. Basically, hold both ends against it and keep it straight and square. Just do a couple of turns at a time. Because any more than that, make sure there's no burrs on the edges. You put it back in the bore. And any more than that, you know, you can take metal off, but you can't add metal back on. And if we screw it up, we're buying a whole new ring set, and we don't want to do that.
So nice and slow.
Nice and slow.
So guys, let me show you what we got going on over here in the box. Here's our Brian Tooley Wiseco pistons that Jay was talking about. We got a set of slightly used Gen 4 rods. They're an upgrade for the older Gen LS's. They use a full floating pin that actually fits right in these. Comes with the little clips. These are similar to what you would use in a motorbike. Definitely, yeah, motorbike, jet skis, that type of thing. That's kind of common for them. Got a set of Malley new rings. Got them marked. One being the top, second one being the middle, and these ones you don't do, so the bottom ones we just left in the box. We got everything numbered, so we'll keep it all kind of together, and as we do things, we'll drop them in the box and we'll kind of go from there. Next up, after we got all this work done, is to assemble these, put the new bearings in, and then drop it in block. Okay guys, look at this really sweet piston. So this is a Brian Tooley Racing. I think it's actually made by Wiseco, but you can see it's a forged unit. It's got the nice slippery stuff on the side. Machining seems really nice. It's a nice beefy unit. We're super happy. Teflon? This is Teflon? Yeah, man. Anyways, they're nice. They're a flat top piston with a little relief there for the valves. Super impressed with these. Way to go, Wiseco and BTR. Definitely they do. Okay guys, while we're here, just you can see the bodywork going on in the car back there. Let's give you a little update. You can see this side's pretty much roughed out. Let's just go this way, look at that. All those nice lines and gaps and stuff like that. It's not quite done, but I think the goal here is by the end of the weekend here is to have this thing ready for prime. The other side looks pretty much exactly the same. The roof is done, trunk lid is done. Haven't touched the hood yet, but damn, we're getting there. I gotta tell you, this fella's tired of cleaning up dust, so sooner the better.
Because you're
What?
It's just because it's your shop.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
Yeah.
hard to clean up dust because it's my job.
Well, the body guys don't care. They just leave.
No.
They're like, we're done. See ya.
They don't care at their shop either. Number 2.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Look at me and smile. Hulk Hogan here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So just so you know, the Bad Gas crew aren't total hacks. After Jason does his grind here in the center,
Just mostly.
it creates a tiny little bit of a, sometimes like a little burr on the edge. I don't know if it focus. Come on, focus. All right. So I'm using a flat file. I'm not going to do it because I'm holding my hands out in front of the camera, but I basically just take the flat file and I just make sure it's flat and there's no burr. So it's nice and smooth going back into the block. Also, like I said, we have all the pistons numbered, the rods numbered, and we used the box that the pistons came in to keep everything separate. So we got all the rings that go with each one, each bore, because they now exactly fit those bores. Don't mix them up. Don't be that guy.
And the rotating assembly was balanced.
Balanced and almost blueprinted.
Not quite. Alright guys, it's wrist pin time. These are floaters. So it's a Gen 4 motor, these are Gen 4 rods. And basically the rod and the piston are held together with the wrist pin. And the wrist pin just kind of floats. Everything moves and floats. And the wrist pin also floats inside here, so it can move around. On the Gen 3 motors, they don't do that. These are a heated press fit, so this would be solid in here and would only move on that. So you don't need the lock rings, but this one here would be the lock rings. Hold it in. And this is how we assemble it. Make sure you're orientated the right way because the pistons do go in a particular direction. Obviously the big one is, the big valve relief is for the intake and the smaller one's for the exhaust. Try not to drop the really expensive piston with the oily fingers. That's bad.
Definitely bad.
Definitely bad. Mark get very mad at me if you have to order me a few more.
So first thing you're doing there is putting the first pin in.
First lock ring.
Lock ring, yeah,
First
sorry.
lock ring.
I meant to say English. Jeez.
Oh. My bad.
No, it was my bad.
So, you zoom in on that. There's a little locating hole right here. A little channel for it to go in, and that one's in on the side.
Perfect. I got it.
Always have to make sure it's in the right channel. If not, it does bad things when it flies out inside your motor. Really don't like that. A little assembly loop inside each hole. This prevents dry start, just like the bearings in the motor.
Nobody likes a dry dock.
Nobody likes a dry dock. Alright, so line it up. Slow. I hold that. Some people are particular. Side, she's in.
Oh, time for the last piece.
Last clip. Just take a small screwdriver or clip, make sure it's in all the way around. And that's her.
Dunzo.
So there's still a little, you can see it can move around a bit. Won't while it's in the hole. Lock right in, we're good to go.
Back to its marked home.
Next
And now we do 7 more since that was the second one. All right.
Alright, that's nice. Looks good, something is in there.
Okay guys, as you can see, here's our organized pistons. We got Tooley Racing, made by Wiseco, on our Gen 4 rods. They're all assembled with the springs, all assembled with the rings on them. Blah. They're all assembled with the rings on them, as you got. Focus, focus, focus. There you go, as you can see. And Jay's coming to grab piston number 3. Let's follow the man. Get him to tell us what he's doing here. Go for it.
So with the LS rods, they're not just machined into like 2 pieces. They're actually broken.
That's true. They're actually called broken rods.
So they put them in a press and snap them off like that. So you can see they're very uneven, but they only go together one way. So, which is kind of cool. And got our ARP hardware here, and get her all slicked up with some assembly lube and get her ready to go.
What are we using for rings there, Sully?
What are we using for rings?
Yeah.
They're Mali, I think, aren't they not? Mali Speed Pro rings, I believe. Isn't that what they're called?
I think you're right. What about the bearings?
They're Cleveite 77s. They're just kind of a standard performance bearing that everybody in their dog runs. This is the clean garage and we can't find any space.
Space.
It's a good thing we're not doing it in my garage.
Space is a premium.
Space is a premium.
We're not like those big YouTube channels with 300 million square foot facilities.
Yeah. The bad gas shop is a 24 by 24 garage.
Yeah, maybe someday. This is an appropriate time to say, everybody give us a big thumbs up. Share this with all your pals and your family and even the people you don't like.
So that one day we can have a big ride.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, fire some comments below. We love comments. We really like to interact with you folks.
Love the forged Brian Tooley Racing Pistons. They are pretty.
Happily take sponsorship from Brian Tooley Racing.
Yeah, yeah, we would.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Or a t-shirt, you know?
Yeah, even a t-shirt.
You know? A couple stickers would be cool. There's a bunch of Brian Tooley stuff here, and we didn't get any stickers. We're kind of miffed about that.
So for anybody that hasn't assembled a motor, let me walk you through what Jay's doing there. He's got what's called a piston ring compressor. It's just a steel band basically with a ratchet on the side, and it just compresses all those rings into the ringland grooves on the piston so that he can just pop it on the top there and slide her right in.
Just like that.
Just like that. Fancy.
Pretty, eh? So we're not going to be putting number 5 in.
And now he'll basically pop down there below and line it up on the crankshaft, and he'll put the lower
On the journal, yeah.
bearing on, and we'll put the ARP studs in there, or sorry, ARP bolts, and just tighten them, just snug them for now. We'll do all the tightening later with the torque wrench. So I'm going to put you guys on the pedestal and just let that record while I help Jay with this. Basically, we got to rinse and repeat a number of other times. Tech tip for everybody. I don't know if that'll focus there. See the 7 on there? That's because everything we have here is numbered. So the rod has a 7, piston has a 7, and we had all our rings. We gapped all these, so they're all matched to this. So we want to keep it all together. So this is 7 for hole 7.
Everything's matched to every cylinder, just in case there's any differences in ring size or anything that's off. Just a couple thou. This should make everything. It's good to keep it in order.
P.S. If you kind folks at home are wondering why we skipped the 3rd cylinder, which is actually 5 on the block, it's because we encountered a problem.
Technical difficulty.
Our, it's building a motor, you got to check everything. Our piston land on that piston didn't seem to be quite machined properly for the top ring. It was a little too tight for our liking. So we'll be taking that one back to have the folks we bought it from have a look and perhaps get another piston to replace it, or maybe machine it, either or. But definitely not putting that one back in the block. So yeah, you want number one?
Number 2, please.
Number 2. Yeah, I should have known that. You already have one.
Good at that, dude.
Don't say that.
Alright, buddy. Come here. Right there.
Okay, folks, we're installing ARP head studs in our build, stronger. So basically, if you're installing these, the little ones go in the top. They're the 8mm bolts. They go in first. Don't torque any of these. If you read the directions, it says just to put them in finger tight. The Allen key, I don't know if you can see that. The Allen key slot is for removing them later in life. Okay, there's 4 bolts that came in the kit that go in the top 4 corners.
They're smaller.
They're shorter than the rest of them, and the rest of them fill the rest of the holes. So here's the difference. Basically, when you have all these installed, they should all be the same height except for the small 8mm ones that are at the very top of the heads.
Don't drop the socket.
Did I say all that like I knew what I was talking about? Because I didn't. I read the directions though.
We're okay.
Yeah, if you haven't watched any of our other videos, we did chase all these holes. So if you're just tuning in, this motor was totally apart and taken to the machine shop, bored, all kinds of metal filings in it from the boring. We brought it home, we cleaned the heck out of it, we chased all these holes with a cap, so they're all good to go. And that's all stuff you should do when you're building a motor anyways. Always chase your holes and get all the dirt out of everything. So always remove all the oil from your mating surfaces here.
Something bad might happen. I'm not sure what.
Not like other mating. Other mating you might want to have some lubrication, but not this type of mating. Cam's on. All right, buddy, what's coming? Woot, woot. Oh, yeah. Slip and drop it.
Hard to see the direction you're going with those little carny things.
Ooh, right home.
Yeah.
One heady Eddie.
That one's got the bolt for the piston. White grease on everything. Drop her on. Tilt that way a little bit. There you go, a little bit more. There you go.
Home.
Where are the instructions?
Did you do the top little ones? Okay, YouTube, if you're still watching, you haven't fallen asleep yet, we're gonna slap some old valve covers on for now, because pretty soon we're gonna be painting this engine. So these are sacrificial. We don't want to get paint on our fancy ones. I'll show you those in a later video. Okay, folks, that's where we're at tonight. We're gonna call this a wrap. Honestly, we got the body guys coming tomorrow and most of Saturday. So we're gonna bag this thing up. We won't get back to this till when? Probably Sunday or Monday next week. Yeah, so, you know, we'll move on next, get the front cover on it. Yeah, there's the front cover. And I don't know, whatever else other we're gonna do, and then we're gonna get it ready to paint.
Yeah, we can put all the push rods in and all the rockers in.
Oh yeah, I forgot about all that because I'm tired. Yeah.
We're all very tired.
Thanks for watching, folks.
After hours here at the bag guy shop.